Welcome. Kicking it with Coach K podcast. This is episode 21. We got a special episode today for you guys. We had a game on Friday night, the Monroe County All-Star game. We had a blast out there. Shout out to Blue Squad, especially. I know everybody had a blast, but we had a lot of fun on Friday night. So today on the show, we got a couple guests here with us. Cam, I don't want to mess your last name up, my man. So how do you pronounce your last name? Wadersky. So Cam Wadersky, and we also have Kyle. Is it Harville? Correct. Kyle Harville in the house from Airport and Jefferson, respectively. So, guys, before we jump in with you guys, talk about the game, we're going to go over a few sponsors. This show is brought to you by BrainJerk Entertainment, Kennedy Health and Wellness. Welcome to the BrainJerk era. These guys are incredible. As you guys know, the podcast network, to be honest with you guys, it's full go right now. It is on fire. They got shows from military, entrepreneur, obviously our coaching podcast, and I can't spill the news yet, but I hear they got a couple more things in the works, so stay tuned on that. Also, they had their Big Boys of Comedy show on Friday night. We obviously had a game to take care of and some business. But I heard the comedy show went well. Obviously, the Big Boys of Comedy are hilarious. Love them guys. Shout out to Cam and them guys. I will be there at Amaya's. Josh, what's the date on that? All right, we'll check that in throughout and share that. But they do have a comedy show coming up at Amaya's here in July. So make sure you follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and you can get those updates for all their events. Kennedy Health Wellness is your one-stop shop for everything wellness, from body care and candles to coaching services. My wife obviously taking care of all of our vendor partnerships and our summer line, and everything's full go with that. So shout out to Meg. She really does a great job with that, and really just simplifying body care, making things healthier for people. So want to give her a huge shout out, kennedyhealthwellness.com. We have several sponsors of this show that are super important, not just to this show, but they've done things for our football program, our community, the Monroe County All-Star game. These businesses are involved in so many ways, so we got to give them some love. Amaya's Fresh Mexican Grill, the Little Brown Jug, Lane's Pizzeria, IWR, Muggsy Sports Grill and Bar, Monroe Sports Center Bowling, Nerdy Designs, All Heart Athletics. Shout out because they sponsored the All-Star game on Friday night. So thank you, All Heart. Also, shout out to you guys for being a huge sponsor of this show. MCSN, who was also out there on Friday night. So thank you, Monroe County Sports Network. Shout out to you guys. July 8th, Josh said, is that Amaya's comedy show. So make sure you guys go check that out. And our last two sponsors, 1817 CrossFit and Big Back Prep. So we just want to touch base. Our sports performance class that goes on every week at 1817 CrossFit is off this weekend due to the 4th of July weekend. We will be back the following week at noon, so make sure you come check us out. Our flag football league kicked off on Friday. It was a little misty out there, but we did get some practice in. We got the team split up. Shout out to Josh and D Mills and Greg for helping coach, and shout out to all the parents and kids who came out and are involved with this. It's going to be a fun time in that league. So we'll be back on 7/7 for our first flag football games. Our volleyball camp on 7/22 has our first few people registered, and the link is open now. That's with Coach Brooke at Allen Park and Riley Eiler. Shout out to Riley. She was on the show last week. Incredible guest. She shared her story and her thoughts on volleyball, sports in our county, and all different types of thoughts. So make sure you go check that episode out. Quote of the day: anyone can start something, very few can finish. All right, and that's by Tim Grover. You guys just finished high school football. Officially now, you had to wait till like June till after you graduated to officially finish, but anybody can start playing something or start doing something, start a job, start a journey, start a goal. Very few can finish, and you guys were able to do that. So that's on a big level why I chose that quote for this. On a smaller level, though, on Monday, when we went into practice, we kind of established what we were going to do on Friday. And to be honest with you guys, like, I know this is like cliche, but I told my wife, I was like, that shit was like a movie on Friday. Like, it played out exactly how a few plays I would have loved to have back or call them differently, or maybe I'd like to, sneak in a mini me play here or there or something. But man, for real, it was like textbook. It was like, boom, 34-0. It was beautiful. We did what we said we were going to do as a unit, and I loved it, man. So kudos to you guys as a team, and you two for being here, but you guys as a team for finishing what you guys said on Monday that you were going to do. Every young man on that team held to their word. So that to me was super awesome. So that's why we chose the quote today. Our read of the day is the 1% Rule by Tommy Baker. If you don't know that, or the 1% philosophy. If I get 1% better at something every day, right, I'm productive, I'm successful. And there's always this crazy thought in people. I've had this deep conversation with people, but if you take 1 year, right, just 1 year, and you get better 1%, that equals 365% better just in 1 year. Like you're tripling that 100 mark if you just do that every single day. So I think that's a great book that kind of breaks down how to win small and make small wins equal big wins. And I think, again, all week, I think we were able to do that, fellas. We were able to just kind of, both teams had chaos, and I think we were able to manage the chaos. And we were just kind of able to make the little details work better than that squad was across from us. And I think that's why we won all week, man. I was like, man, we've been together 2-3 weeks now, or just a day or two. Like, these guys are getting along. After day one, man, y'all came in day one, and it was like one group over here, a group. And then after that, it was like, man, Mackay was joking with this guy. Y'all were hanging with the Erie kids. You're hanging with Loudon. Like, it was cool, man. It was like, all right, this is how we're going to win the game Friday. I already know it. This is how it's done right here. So I think every day we kind of did that. So speaking of the game, before we talk to our guests, before we kind of ask you guys some questions and talk about the game, we do want to give some shout outs for Friday night. So first thing I want to shout out is the people who made this game happen. And I think it's super important just because there were so many people that either were involved in making it happen from a logistical standpoint, or involved from like you guys, from like, we have to have enough players and coaches to have rosters and be able to go perform at a high level on a field. So I think giving everybody shout outs is super important. So we do want to give some love to Nationwide Children's Hospital. They sponsored the game, took care of the jerseys and all that. Erie Mason and everyone involved. So the administration at Erie Mason, athletic director, just everybody that made that thing go. Lauren, our athletic trainer, Coach Bowers, for just everything he takes care of throughout the week. And obviously, he asked me to do that. So I was blessed. Thank you, Coach. I know you watched the show, so I appreciate you, sir, for everything that you do and everything that you did to make the game happen this week. Everybody in our concessions. So the fresh cut fries and the burgers, I heard, were pretty damn good. So I want to shout out to everybody who helped run the concessions or helped cook. You guys are incredible. Joe Gibson, who stepped in as our announcer and did a phenomenal job. He stepped in on short notice. So we want to definitely appreciate him. The touchdowners, for everything that they did to make the game happen, decorating the field with the balloons and all the festivities. And then even after the game, right, like sharing all the stuff on Facebook and tagging everybody. So really appreciate the touchdowners. Heather Gwynn, she was our photographer on Friday. So all those cool pictures that we got were from her. She's amazing at what she does. All Heart Athletics, we announced them earlier in the show as a sponsor, but we really, really appreciate them for making that game happen and being a big sponsor of that game. MCSN, who was on the sidelines doing halftime interviews and when players were getting MVP awards and doing all types of interception interviews. And that was really cool, I thought. What'd you guys think about having MCSN on the sidelines?
That was pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet to have that. I think that's a super cool added element for you guys to the field. Makes it feel official, like college football or something, or like a real big high school game. Makes you feel good. Want to thank all the other media who showed up. So BCSN, who came out. We saw WTOL, I think, during the week. They popped out. I talked to Niles. Shout out to Niles from the newspaper. So we had a lot of media who either covered it this week or was out at the game Friday. So shout out to them guys as well. Natalie for the graphics. Everybody who showed up in attendance. A lot of Monroe coaches there. I seen a couple Jefferson coaches there. Your dad was in the stands. Man, your dad's a very awesome guy, by the way. Very nice guy. I'm like, dude, I had a 10-minute conversation with him after the game. I was like, this guy's great, man. Great dude. I see he's coaching too. So shout out to your dad for doing stuff with the kids in the community. And then, of course, the Blue Squad. Shout out to the Blue Squad and the White Squad and the coaches and players for, they went through, we wanted to win the game and we're competitors. But at the same time, those were kids from Whiteford that won state championships. Those were guys that represented our county very well for years and years. And do appreciate Coach Rob DeYoung stepping in and all them coaches over there for stepping in and making sure that this game was able to happen. So do want to give them love. And then, like I said, of course, last but not least, want to give some love to you guys, man. Shout out to the Blue Squad and the Erie Mason coaching staff who helped obviously run the show for us. But you guys, man, want to give you guys a lot of love. You guys showed what a group should do, what this should look like. It should look like a group of young men coming together with a common goal and creating one voice. That's what it should look like. And you guys were able to do that shit extremely fast. So really a lot of love to you guys. Our nationwide offense MVP was Miles Tackett. Miles balled out. We were just talking about it before the game. Cam was like, that boy went crazy and actually threw an incredible touchdown pass to my man Kyle. I don't even know how the play broke down because honestly, I'm watching so much at once. All I know is Miles is scrambling over here and he's throwing some kind of crazy on the run pass. And I'm like, oh, man. And all I know is Kyle's going up and making an absolute great play. And then the shimmy dance to finish it off. So great job, man. Great job, Miles. Nationwide defense MVP, Loudon Murbach. Loudon's my guy. Him and I are super close, man. We became so I coach linebackers. He obviously, that was one of my guys. We became super tight this season. And I want to give him a lot of love because his last game, similar to how you didn't get to play, his last game ended with a broken collarbone in the playoffs. And I think, for guys like that, for guys like you, anybody who went through, guys even who just went through all types of adversity, even that wasn't injury, I think for you guys to come back, win, get awards, get accolades, be on the show, talk about this experience, it's so incredible, man. So Loudon, much love to you. Blue team MVP was Mekhi Hayden. He's a energy guy, crazy dude right there, man. Love him. I know he's tuning in today, and we're going to have him on the show in the future as well. And then white team MVP was William, I believe it's Wallin from Milan. I do not know the young gentleman, but I'll tell you this. If I ever seen a football player in my entire life, it's either that guy or this guy sitting across from me. And that's no disrespect to you or anybody else, but if I ever seen like a prototype looking football guy, like you and Will were them guys on Friday. Like them are football guys for sure. So shout out to Will. Great job. And then the MCSN and the All Heart MVP was Amari Carter. And Amari played with us all week. He's an energizer, man. He's a great ball player. He did some things on Friday that were kind of ridiculous. I'll be honest. So so we want to give them guys love. Shout out to everybody who came out, did their thing, performed. But again, I don't want to take away from anybody from the blue squad because everybody on blue balled out. Kyle, I believe you had 3 catches, 60 yards and a touchdown, a nice touchdown that really was that the 28 or the 34 mark?
I'm not sure. It might have been the 28.
That was kind of the one, though. I know that was kind of the one that like iced it. Like, okay, man, we're making plays like that, and it's this bad of a score. This is probably the ball game, right? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but when you start getting up 3-4 touchdowns and you're facing a tee and we're throwing the ball around like that, it's like, oh wow, all right, we got this one in the bag. We feel good. So yeah, all types of guys, man. My man, I was just shouting him out before we came on. Him and Loudon led the whole way on defense. Every time I watched you guys, man, there was a couple plays. I'm talking 8-9 hats to the ball, and you and Loudon were the first 2 there. And I'm like, that's 8-9 hats to the ball, man. That's crazy. That means the opposite corner maybe didn't make it all the way over, but everybody else did. You know what I'm saying? So incredible, man. Want to give you guys a lot of love and make sure that nobody on the blue team, Braden Pierce, stepping in to play quarterback after playing, center for the first few days. And he slings, a ball around, and then we run a play. BCSN said they thought that was the first time that a number 52 would ever throw a pass, or the first time that a number 52 threw a pass to a 63 or whatever. And I thought that was funny, man, because we just did a lot. Shout out to the big fella from Carlson and all them big fellas. And it was a good time, man. So just to get started, like, what did y'all think of the game? Like, let's get both of your guys' thoughts first. What y'all think?
It was awesome, really. I mean, I didn't have a great individual season at Jefferson, but to win like that, it felt good. I ain't won like that in a long time.
To go out like that?
It was awesome.
What was going through your mind during the game?
It was awesome. It was just so much,
just soaking it up.
It was just so much fun. I was having fun with a whole bunch of dudes I've known for like a couple of days.
Right.
It was just awesome. It really was.
Tell me, before we go on to Kyle, tell me about that. Like, what you say that, like, how were we able to, like, how were you guys man, because I can stand up here and say, you know, I told you guys to come together and everything, but the reality is like you guys did that. That's y'all. That's y'all putting the work in and the making sure that because any of you could have sat there all week and been like, yeah, coach told us to come together, but I don't know this dude. Like, what, man, was it like, what is it, man? What made y'all gel so much?
I'm not really sure. I think it was just a want to play football one more time. Really,
That want.
go out big. I mean, it was awesome.
That common goal.
Us just wanting to be there and just wanting to win, have some fun.
Definitely. So one thing I would add to that too, just for the people listening, I think everybody in there. So like Airport, right? You guys had a great season.
Yep.
But you had some issues with injury, right? Jefferson had their struggles. You know, our guys at Erie Mason, several of them guys were either injured this season as well. And our season didn't end great. The Monroe kids struggled this season. They had a rough season. I think all of us had this common want to taste that other side of football, wanting to end it on that other side, right? You wanting to end it on making plays in a winning game, not just being on the sideline in a winning game. And I talked to you guys about that in the locker room. Nobody in here is wearing a state ring. So we all have a chance to finish now a winner. And I think that was super important. The want to end it on, I think both of what you said, I just kind of hammer the nail on the head with I think the want for all of us to end it in a way other than how it ended, I think was super important that week. I think we all had a common goal, and that's no disrespect to White, but I think when you look at the White squad, you know, like Whiteford won a state championship and had like 3 or 5 guys on that team or something. Like, I get it. Them guys know how to win, definitely know how to win, but are they hungry for it? Like a bunch of dudes whose season didn't really go necessarily how they wanted it or thought. Like, that's a different kind of hunger, man. So I almost felt like our hunger on Friday just showed a little bit. And then I'm asking you guys if you're tired and you got, dude, the guy, man, please help me out. The big fella from Carlson. What's his last name?
I know him.
I can't.
Big Red.
Big Red. Big Red. I hope you're watching, man. Big Red from Carlson, and the guys watching who were at the game Friday night and played, the Blue squad who was watching. Y'all know who we're talking about, but go look him up. He caught a pass on a screenplay for like an 11-yard gain, which was awesome. But yeah, man, it was incredible. So what did you think about the game Friday? What were your thoughts?
It was just great because, you know, for me, I had injuries. I played a game in about 3 quarters, shattered my hand, had 2 surgeries, couldn't play a single game after that. I was pretty devastated. So it was just great to actually be able to, you know, get out back on the field and make plays.
That was your first game?
Well, I played the first game versus Ida.
Okay.
Which we won. I played the second game versus Flat Rock, which I scored my first touchdown of the season.
Very nice.
Then about the 3rd quarter, I ran the ball, got hit in the hand.
And that's when it happened.
I was like, it feels a little funny, but I think it's good. Next play on defense, made a tackle, just
and then
shattered.
It was done. Yeah. Oof, man. And 2 surgeries.
Yep.
So what a great ending for you, man. What an awesome. Again, I can't say it enough. Big, huge catch to put the game away the other night to really like solidify the deal and kind of it's over. So Great job, man. I'm really happy for you guys. Not just you know, not just the blue team or not just you guys, but the blue team in general. But I am extremely happy. When did you guys during the game? Like, when did you guys think like, okay, all right, shit, we're rolling? Like, I mean, you could be honest. Was it, was it pregame? Was it first quarter 14-0? Like, when in the game were you like, oh, we got these dudes?
When I watched them walk up.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
They walked up.
Woo! Elaborate. I got to hear it. Elaborate.
We're all sitting there. We're getting ready. We're all warming up, you know, and we're all sitting there, and I look over. We're all getting stretched. We're sprinting. I look up. These dudes are all walking slowly as could be all the way around to their side of the field. They do their warm-ups. They're like sitting there, like walking around, you know, looking at everything. We're sitting there like, you're sitting there yelling. Our coach is like, hey, make sure we clap after every play, you know, let's get going. Let's get rolling. And then it was like, oh, yeah, we got them.
I think they knew too.
Hey, man, and again, much respect to them guys because, again, we're talking about 4 or 5 state title kids over there. But I think so, too. I think when you look at it, I thought, I'll be honest, man, I almost thought during the week, the way we were gelling as a team, I kind of started to be like, are they gelling like this? Because this is tough to gel like this in this short amount of time. And I think like we had a little bit of something special there for this all-star game. I was kind of like, are they gelling like that? I don't think so, man. And then when there was the whole like low scoring affair, I was kind of like, oh no. And then I kind of figured out like what they were going to run on offense because of who the linemen and running backs were, and kind of had an idea of what they're. And I was like, so if we get up on them, it's done.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I knew when we started installing trick plays and everything, I was like, oh man, yeah. I just had a feeling in the week, man. You'll learn if any of you guys kind of go on to coach in the future, you'll learn as a player. It's harder to tell because as a player, you're always just kind of like in the moment. Like, I want to win. I want to do my best. I can beat you. Even when you're having a bad season, you want that next one bad. So you just keep going. As a coach, you kind of have a perspective, like, you know where you're at and you know where other teams are and you know who practices hard. You know where your issues are within your program. Like, you kind of have a different perspective and you kind of know. And I just had a feeling, man, when they were talking about like low scoring defensive affair and like, we're kind of out of shape. And I'm like, dude, our guys are out here, and yeah, we got a couple guys who are a little out of shape, but like, man, for not playing football in a while, our kids are kind of rolling and firing right now, and that's tough to beat, man. I kind of knew it during the week, to be honest. What was your favorite play during the game?
Probably either Miles's throw on the run.
To this guy?
Yeah. Amari's cutback. Amari's cutback was sweet. So was Loudon's pick six that got called.
That
was sweet.
Can we talk about that real quick? Did y'all watch the clip?
That boy.
Did you watch the clip though? Mackay.
Oh, it was clean.
That was clean.
I think that was clean.
That was clean. He didn't the ball. I was like, I watched it and I didn't want to, like, the game's already over. We won. So I didn't want to be that guy. But I thought about commenting and being like, and it was just Coach Bowers that shared it. But I was like, man, I watched that clip over and over. And I'm like, you can't expect Mackay to dead stop momentum when the quarterback still has the ball in his hand. That was clean. That would have been our 40 mark because that was definitely.
Rest in peace, that quarterback.
Man, that you can hear it in the clip too. I was like, he got up though. Shout out to that kid for getting up and continuing to play, because Mackay is different, man. He's pretty nasty.
He is going on to play D1 ball at Toledo. So
is that what we think?
Yeah, he's walking out
so
there.
For those who don't know, Mackay, and I believe his last name is Hayden. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think that's his last name. But he was on our squad. You can check him out from the Monroe group that came in. But yeah, he destroyed it the other day. He was a guy too, right, who like didn't always have a bunch of stats, because we're like, when we were talking about the blue team MVP, right? He's a guy who didn't necessarily have a ton of stats, but on defense the entire night, like you and him were just, and Loudon were just kind of everywhere. Mackay was just there, involved in every single play. And then even the play we just talked about, that was a good play to me. I thought he made a great play. So I got to give him credit for that one. But D1 ball, that's incredible. That's awesome. So from a standpoint of like the All-Star game, we talk about on the field stuff and how much fun that was. What was your most enjoyable part of this? Was it the game itself? Was it the week? Was it what was the most enjoyable part of this whole All-Star experience?
I think for me, it was getting to know the people and being to play with a bunch of different guys. I think it was the third day of practice. We get done, and I'm sitting there, and me and my airport boys are walking out, and we see Loudon. We're like, we've never been here before. Let's get a tour of the school. So he
ain't gonna see much, but shout out to Erie Mason, though. I love it, but it's small school.
And Loudon walks around. He's giving us every story he's had in the school. I'm sitting there laughing. Just after that, I knew like, oh yeah, we're all gelling now. It's go time.
That's incredible, man. I didn't even know that happened. That's the stuff that I didn't even see, that now I see why you guys gelled so hard. That's the stuff right there. That's like, okay, I seen Big Red walking with various people, talking to him. I seen I loved it on Friday night. I seen Amari Carter coaching up Drew Cisney and Zach Miller on different running back stuff, and them guys were completely open to it, right? Just all right, man, for sure. Which, I mean, Amari is somebody I'd probably take a little advice from at running back, but he does a pretty good job at it. But still though, you could be from a different school and be like, I ain't listening to him. But instead it was like, man, like I said, the first day I joked with the coaches, and I'll just be transparent. I was like, oh man, we got clicks all over this thing. I was like, coaches, is this what it is? And they said, yeah. And I said, no. I was like, we're not gonna do this all week. This whole like this guy over here. No. We gotta. But and the crazy part is like we didn't even really do much, but maybe like the little rock, papers, and scissor and like, but the common goal, right? That's what we did is like we all want to come together. We all want to. I wanted to put on a show too. It wasn't for me. It was like this all-star game has been like 6-0, 9-8, and like, dude, you can't tell me crowds don't sit there in an all-star game when it's 6-0 and be like dozing off. Like people want to see scores, man. So our thing was like, let's gel, let's be a team because you guys have a common goal to win, and then let's like give these people a show.
Oh yeah,
let's give them a show. I'll be honest, that was one thing I'd still like to see more next year. I still like to see more people in the stands. I thought, I think the rain kind of messed it a little bit. I think a lot of people end up going, our flag football league, we have like 40 and we seen like 28 or 30. And I think when you get rain, it definitely, hinders it a bit. And that was the crazy thing too, is before the game, I was asking like, do you guys want to sling this ball around still? Everybody in that room was like, oh, we're trying to light the scoreboard up. I loved it, man. It was a great attitude. If from a standpoint for you, what was your favorite part of this week?
Probably how everyone just matched each other's energy. It really was fun. I ain't been around energy like that. I ain't been around, big, loud, rowdy teams and scoring teams and just dudes that know how to really play the game as bad as it sounds. I mean, it was fun to be around people that matched my energy and I mean, it was really just awesome.
And even your skill level, right? Like this podcast is raw as hell. Like we don't sugarcoat nothing. There's a lot of bad high school football players. For sure. Like really bad, like flat out. And go ahead.
It was nice having people, like I played Mike my whole life, and I had people actually listen to me when I was calling the defense and stuff, and that was awesome because I'd be playing high school ball and no one would listen to me, no one believed me.
It was a struggle, right?
Everyone around me understood what we were saying, what each other were doing, and believed in each other, and that was awesome just to have someone that believed in me as much as I believe in them finally.
See, and I hate to say it, man, but stuff like that makes me think like we just fielded one of the greatest like all-star teams the county has ever seen, just for the pure fact that like, man, I'll take our group and the way we just came together over the past groups. Show me a group that gelled like that. Show me a group that's hitting each other up now, after the game, trying to hang out and trying to like build bonds and friendships. Like, man, I don't know. That was special for real. And even if I ever did it again, like I would try to emulate the same thing, right? But it would be hard, man. It really would, because y'all were a great group of guys that were willing to. That's my thing right there. You guys were willing to understand each other, listen to each other, and play with each other. And I think, and I don't know, white team, to be honest, white squad didn't seem together. They didn't seem like they believed, right? They seemed like when they went, I noticed like when they snapped the ball, they all went down in syncs. Seemed like they were in sync, but they didn't seem like they believed necessarily in the fact that they could win the game or that they could do this. And I think that could be it, and I'm sure a lot of them guys did come together over there. I'm sure. Oh, yeah. But did they come together like that? I don't know, man. We had, and everybody was selfless. So that was my biggest thing.
That's awesome.
Nobody in there had an attitude about anything when it came to, not that I knew of. If it did, it happened off the record when us coaches weren't around and I didn't know about it. But it seemed so like there was nothing like that when we left practice. No, like, screw that. I wish I'd have got more balls, or I should have been running the trick play, or there was none of that. Be honest, y'all can be. That's incredible.
It was awesome. Everyone liked each other.
That is. Friends. That's incredible, man. What would be something you would change about the game?
And I don't know.
It was last.
I ain't gonna lie, that might be the funnest football game I've ever played in my life.
Hey man, I was telling Coach Bowers, I was like,
the jerseys, you got to do something else about that. That was awful.
Because I remember going to last year's one at airport, and they had like
they were awesome.
These nice, like it said West on them, and it was
the jerseys.
Yeah, they had names, and it was like good, like Nike almost jerseys. Like they weren't like Nike, but they were like super nice. And then this year I'm like,
Oh,
I got
them
my
bags.
my black practice jersey was better than that.
So one thing I think I would change to kind of piggyback off of that a little bit, I think I would change the name of the teams too. The East and West used to be cool, or the East and South or whatever it was, West, South, whatever. That used to be cool. The blue and white's just a little bit generic. Like we can come up with something in Monroe County that
we'll make our own names.
you know, or have the teams and coaches vote on it, you know, let the white, like call it, you know, white and blue squad for now, you know, and then get your teams together and have a vote and send it in, you know, something like that. But I would like, because man, I'm big about branding, right? And you guys see like how much stuff I shared, all the MCSN stuff, and you guys see I asked you guys to come on the podcast today to brand the game, and it's like, and to brand you guys, and that stuff's important, man. And I think making the game fun, making it exciting. I think the team names, like having a little more, you know, juice to them. I even think like, you know, East West All Stars is a little more exciting than you know, blue white. That would be my only thing.
Yeah.
And that's not me being, you know, an asshole or critical, or it's just being honest. There's certain aspects of it that we could improve. I do think, I think too, just continuing to try to get more people to it and grow it. Grow the sport. Yeah. And I think the All-Star game needs to be something that we, like every year, it needs to be like this, where we're all pushing it. Your dad pushed it all week hard as hell. You were sharing it. You know, Kyle on Instagram, Makai on Instagram. I've viewed all your guys' Instagram stories. Everybody's sharing it like crazy. Everybody was trying to get people to come out. And I think it's got to be consistent like that. You know, from what I understand, it kind of died down a little bit after COVID. And I really, really do believe that we put some juice back in it this year. If anything, just the way we came out and performed, and then all the videos and attention that was all over it, I think. And that was my goal, man. To me, it wasn't good enough to just win the game. I wanted us to put a show on. And part of that was because I knew the dudes we had. I saw it out there. But so nothing you guys can think of other than just the jerseys and the names? No? Yeah. What
Don't run a T ever again.
Don't run the T.
Especially against a whole bunch of boys that know how to stop the T.
See, it's an all-star game.
So that's the hard part. I get that too, right? And Coach, if Coach Rob's watching, we're not being any disrespect, just opinions, man, and it is what it is. But the reality is, like we said, I do think people want to see more than the T in an all-star game. But you know, I get Coach's perspective was like, I have a ton of kids who ran that. I got running backs who ran it. And I got linemen who ran it. So I get it. But to the flip side of it, we got guys who knew how to stop it. So at that point, you know,
I see it 3 or 4 weeks in the Huron League. I mean, so is he. I mean, he plays in the Huron League too.
Oh yeah, you guys both play in the same league.
Yeah,
that just
see that wing.
That just clicked in my head.
All the time.
Yeah, I saw that. So you guys, because you guys see, you guys will see Riverview CC, right? I hate playing Riverview.
Like when you look at
hate it.
You see them boys run the team in the All-Star game, and you're like, I'm sitting there like, I can see the ball.
Yeah.
Like versus Riverview, I'm like,
I can't see it.
Where'd it go? And all of a sudden I see a kid run down for a touchdown.
Gone.
Just
gone. Riverview's a pain. You know what? And I guess we do gotta, you know, and I know they were your guys' enemies, but I guess we have to give Riverview some love for like mastering that damn offense, because Kyle's right. They are a pain. And we played them at Romulus 2 years in a row. And I'm not even kidding you, man. I was like, dude, I don't want to play them anymore. Like, and it ain't even like a backing down from competitive standpoint. It's more like a, dude, that style is so slow to me, and so like,
it's like people are talking like
it's like pulling hairs watching them run the ball, man.
You can sit there and prepare for it all you want, but
nope.
They're just.
But that's why they're always going to do it too, until, you know, a new coach maybe comes in and breaks it. But even then, like CC, a lot of them schools do that stuff for year round.
It's branded into them at this point.
It is. What did you guys didn't run it?
No, so up until
I was gonna say you guys. We played y'all the last game. Y'all weren't running.
Really, up until my junior year.
You guys still ran the ball a lot, though.
Yeah, we did. But up until my junior year, we pretty much ran T my whole life.
No kidding.
Whole life.
Over at Jefferson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whole life I ran T. I went undefeated in 8th grade running the T.
Running the T.
Yeah, I mean.
So then that's what I mean. Like, it is an effective offense.
You got the people to do it.
But I also think you got to have the people in time. I think And so like for coach, his problem was, and if I'm being honest, is like once you got down 14-0 with with the guys that are explosive guys, Kyle, Amari, and all these guys, like it was kind of like I don't want to say we could score at will, but I knew like we're going to score a few more times. And to be honest, towards the second half, especially the fourth quarter, kind of called the dogs off a little bit, so to speak, to kind of, honestly though, if we're being real, there is a safety concern when it comes into playing a football game after so many months. And them dudes on the other side were torched, bro. And when I tell you they were, I could see it. I was like, I'm not trying to get these kids. But then the one kid, man, I'm not gonna lie, the one kid, I can't remember who he was, but he was the corner, and then he wanted to talk shit to me. I ran a trick play, and then you got Miles wanted to run another one, and I was like, nah, man, run Iowa, run the rock. And then the kid was like, no, throw another one, coach. I'm like, bro, you don't want that. We've done throwing the ball around all day.
You'll probably get head.
That's why I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was like, buddy, I said, you already lost. We already burnt you guys today.
The quarterback that got killed by him. God.
That was the QB.
Oh yeah, number 8.
And so I know he's a pretty good ball player. So I don't mean any disrespect. He balled at CC, but it was just I'm like, man, you are down so big. Don't like push my buttons to throw another trick play out here right now or another bomb. I'm trying to give you guys a breather because I know your roster is a little bit smaller because they did have a few guys less. They lost a few guys throughout the week, so they did have a couple guys less on their roster. So I know like fatigue is definitely a thing, and a couple of our guys won't admit it, but a couple of our guys were fatigued too. Yeah, man. Some of our guys are like, I'm good, coach. Big Red over here talking about I'm great, coach. Face beat red, pouring sweat, talking about I need a Gatorade for sugar. I'm like, shout out to Big Red for pushing, but man, I'm like, you tired, bro. You could tell, coach, you tired. I get it. But you guys also, man, I've never seen a group play through fatigue or just play an entire 4 quarters at the same level. Like you guys, that was incredible to me. Like all my years of coaching at Wayne Memorial, Romulus, Erie, Summit, I never seen a team like play 4 quarters at the same exact level from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Like it was damn near the same. We might have had a small drop off in the fourth or whatever second half, but it wasn't even enough to really like notice. No. It was like very, very minimum. So, man, it was crazy. Do you think that contributed to that? Do you think we were in better shape throughout the week?
Sure.
Oh, definitely.
100%.
Like why do you think that is though, being that we're all coming back from the same break? Like, do you just think we just the crop of kids maybe? Like what do you think? Do you think we just had a group that maybe worked?
I think it was just the group that we had.
I think because man, we even talked, like we conditioned you guys the first day, right?
Yeah.
And then we talked about it after that, and I was just kind of like, I mean, like, what is 3 days of conditioning really going to do these dudes? Like, if we're going to condition them, we might as well just have them run the offense up and down the field and run plays.
Like
that way they can rep the offense and like
conditioning should.
That's how it should work. 100% agree with that. You should not in this day and age be running kids 100 yards and down and everything else.
Right.
If you do, it's like, right, what are they ever going to do that in a game?
No.
Never. They're going to run plays though. You might as well, you know.
As a linebacker, I got a good maybe 10 steps in me. I'm done.
That's it. Your play's over. If you even get 10 in a play, like your play could be over in 5 for real. It could be over. It could be longer, but yeah, your plays. Most football plays last 4 to 7 seconds.
Yeah.
So you don't even have time to cover 100 yards. That's
it.
Because most of them don't go farther. Like people don't realize this because of the big explosives, but most football plays don't go more than 25 yards, 25 yards. Like most of them are them little 4-yard runs, 7-yard pass, 12-yard pass. Then you get your occasional 37-yard bomb or 37-yard pass or 70-yard bomb or something like that, right? Which was the other thing. I don't know how you guys felt, but I thought we were super balanced on Friday, both on offense and defense. I thought Coach and I did a good job rotating guys. I thought we had a good balance in the game plan. Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought we Drew Cisney came in and ran the ball pretty well. I was kind of like,
I think we had dudes that could do anything, really.
Oh, yeah.
Dudes
I
that
do
could play
too,
all over
man.
the field.
What's next for this group, man? Can we get together and have like some kind of dinner or something, man? Get y'all back together, see what you guys are all doing in the future.
I'd be down.
I know it sounds crazy, man, but I for real like this group. of young people was like really, really cool and special to me. And I mean that for real. And every group that I've coached at Erie or Romulus, everybody's always been special. But I think again, just different kids from different areas being able to do what we accomplished would be awesome. What's next for you guys individually?
You can go for it, Cam.
I'm playing college ball at University of Olivet. I'm playing linebacker.
Shout out, man. Shout out. So
with my quarterback, Miles Tackett.
Shout out to Miles.
And Seth is also wrestling there. So
Seth is going too?
Me, Seth, and Miles are all going to Olivet.
Is Minnie, right?
Yep.
Shout out to Seth Minnie as well. Seth, if you're tuning in, my guy, shout out to you as well for that. That's incredible, man. 3 of you boys from Jefferson headed up there. Let's go. That's what I love to hear. Hey, man. So when I came to Monroe from Romulus, I graduated from Erie in 2011, but I've been working and coaching downriver ever since. When I came home, though, I was like, man, we got to change sports in Monroe County. We got to make this shit like downriver where it's serious, where it's like where kids are getting exposure from coaches, where it's just the real deal. That right there, that's the real deal, bro. That I love to see that because somebody like you and Miles and Seth, you guys elevate this county. And even that game, everything you guys did, man, elevated this county. But hearing that is incredible. So Olivet for football. What else you going for? What are you going for school?
I'm going to major in kinesiology. It's like sports science.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right around there.
Love that.
I'm going to minor in business.
Okay. So what's your plan as far as like, so we know you're playing football. We know you're going to school for that. So are you trying to be like a personal trainer? Are you trying to be like a sports trainer? Like what you trying to do?
I'm trying to I want to do a lot of things, but I want to have my own business training more so professionals, but I want to coach. I want to coach in the league.
Love that, man. Love that.
Strength and conditioning, defensive coordinator right around there. That's
for real.
Goal. Yeah.
I love that. You're a weight room dude. I can tell. I saw pictures. It was either on your Instagram or your dad posted something, and it was you from a while back, man. I'm like, my man done bulked. I'm like, he stays in the weight room. That's big, man. That's huge. That's incredibly huge. I love that. Don't forget to stop home, sometimes when you're at Olivet and say hello to everybody. And we will be there, man. I told you this after the game, but I'm not joking about that. You shoot me the schedule. I actually just seen they posted it.
I posted that.
Yeah, you did. So I actually follow them on Instagram, and it's small world. I scrolled past their Instagram and clicked on your story like in the same 2 minutes and ended up seeing both. And I'm like, because I didn't know if you were sharing something from the game but Olivet, for those who don't know, beautiful campus. Awesome. Incredible that this guy and his teammates have opportunity to go up there. And please make sure that you check out a game there this fall. It is a great place. We went there last year at Erie Mason and played Saranac. Very successful night there against Saranac. But again, we had a lot of fun at Olivet. Beautiful turf field, beautiful facilities. They took me on a tour when I was there for no reason, just to take me on a tour. I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
That place is beautiful.
But awesome, man. Shout out to you. That's incredible. Incredible. What about you, man? What's next?
So I'm going to Eastern Michigan.
Eagles, man. Let's go. What you going for?
Sports management with a minor in marketing.
Let's go. You too on this. Both of y'all. That's big stuff. So what, out of curiosity, and I'm going to come back to you on this too, what drew you to EMU?
It was just so my aunt went to EMU, and it was like the first college that I actually visited.
Okay.
So I was like, it's the first one. It kind of felt like when I first got there, I was like, I'm kind of liking this place. They're building a bunch of new stuff. They got,
felt good right away.
They got Chick-fil-A there. I'm like,
this guy in Chick-fil-A.
It's right on campus. So I'm like, you know what? It was just a whole vibe on the campus.
For real, when you went there, kind of like a you knew thing almost. Yeah. Like I just knew.
Yeah.
So man, I love EMU. So if you follow me on Instagram, or you do now, when you see, I'm always posting pictures up at 7-on-7s or up at the campus on college. I take a ton of football guys on college visits up there. Even if they don't, even if they're not interested necessarily in playing or have the grades or whatever. Some guys I take up there because I think they might have a shot. Some guys I take because I like them to see the way those guys move, the way guys that where you're going, the way those guys move, the way they move in a weight room, the way they come out to. I take a lot of young kids, especially, go see how they go. But I'm up at EMU all the time, man. Love Eastern Michigan. It's a beautiful campus. You're going to a great school, and you're going into a great major too, man. That's incredible. So for sports management, like, what is that going to entail then? Like, what are you going to be getting into, or what is something you could be getting into?
So you can get into like journalism and stuff like that for sports, but for me,
Okay,
I want to go like do like marketing for like a big sports team, like
that's
somewhere
incredible.
like the Tigers or something
Right,
like that.
That's awesome.
right. So you would be the marketing guy for the posters, the Instagrams, all that stuff. That's an incredible goal, and you can do that for sure. That's incredible. And stuff like this, honestly, stuff like being on a podcast really helps you get experience with stuff in that realm, man. I mean, we get, we'll get sometimes we'll get 300 viewers, sometimes we'll get close to 3,000 viewers on this show. So being in a seat, getting comfortable with, because that's part of it too, right? You got to market your teams, you got to brand them. I'm big on that. Y'all see, you'll see the Erie Mason stuff. It's like, bro, I'm big about my business, my football team, our all-star team this week. Like, I really, really take like the Coach Prime approach, right? Just, you got to build that shit all the way from the ground up. So that is incredible, man. And you're doing that, and doing what both of you guys are doing actually is important now more than ever, because of how left behind you'll get. In your case, if you're a sports program or a franchise, whatever, how left behind you'll get if you don't have a good marketing team. Like, you'll get straight up left behind. And if you get left behind in that way, now it starts to like trickle down where you don't be able to sign X player or this player because they don't want to come. Like, that stuff really matters. It's not the end all be all. Like, not everybody's signing with a team just because of the Instagram, but it's definitely like, oh, do you guys know how to brand yourself or not?
Matters for sure.
Definitely. You got, like, I think I look at Coach Prime. I don't know if y'all watch college football, but like, I look at Coach Prime and I'm like, man, people are going to play there. He's going to continue to get these 4 or 5-star kids because it's just cool to be at Colorado with Coach Prime right now. Like, it's just cool,
He's a marketer
himself.
His name.
Yep.
Prime time. I mean,
that's it.
Who doesn't want your head coach to be prime time?
Prime time, right? Like, shoot, sign me up, man.
Deion
Deion, prime time is your coach. Man, I love Deion. I think he's because I think what Colorado got when they got him, right, is like, they didn't just get a coach, they got like a full ass business now. That's like, and I don't even know if you want to coach, but like, that's what you could do in marketing too, bro. Like, you could build a whole ass team through just how you brand yourself. And whether you're the head coach or not, like, you could still do that. And it's super important, man. I love that. What about you? Why Olivet?
I went to a couple different visits. I explored my options. I had options to wrestle too.
Okay.
I went up to Olivet, and I really I enjoyed the fact that they acted like they wanted me. I wasn't just going to be another number. They were wondering, what I can do outside of just even playing linebacker. They want to try to fit me in.
Love that.
They acted like they wanted me. And, the facility itself was beautiful, and they like specialize in my major, like exercise science is what they do. That's their thing. Right. And it just, all the pieces fell in place. It's not too far from home.
Incredible.
It's awesome. It really was perfect for me.
Definitely. And we'll be up there in fall for sure to support you, man. What I might do is I might break out that group chat one more time in fall and be like, hey, man, if anybody's trying to ride up, a couple of our boys from the all-star team got game today, or got a game tomorrow, let's all go. That would be a great, instead of like a dinner, that would be phenomenal. Go support you guys at a game.
Best one would be Adrian. Big Red, it's going to Adrian.
That's right. So, yes.
My last game.
Listen,
of the
man,
year, I'll play him.
We're doing that. Listen, man, I'm putting it in the group text tomorrow. Like, yo, last game of the season, mark the date. We're going to support our boys from the All-Star game, and we're all going up. Whoever can make it, let's go. Let's actually do that. That's a great idea, man. That's super fun. And you get to compete against Big Red, man. That's incredible.
He was like, he's like, man, why didn't you go with Adrian? He was sitting there talking to me on the sideline about
Did you visit him?
Yeah, I did.
You visited Adrian?
I went up. I visited Adrian. Beautiful campus, beautiful everything. Awesome facilities. It didn't feel like somewhere I could call home.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like Kyle said with the fit thing, man. Sometimes Gabe Sweet was on, and he said when he went to Concordia, he said it just was like perfect. It just fit like it's home, and he couldn't imagine anywhere else. It's kind of what both of you guys sound like with your destinations.
Just it's wherever feels like I could call it home.
That's awesome.
That felt like I could call it home.
What's your expectations for next year?
Man, we're gonna be solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, they're good at football. I can't wait.
That's awesome.
Obviously, I hope to come up there and make an impact on the team and make the roster and stuff. But
yeah,
I'm
definitely
expecting me and Miles to go up there and do our thing.
I love it.
Seth is a phenomenal wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the best wrestler I've ever wrestled
dude.
with.
Seth's a big dude. I was like, dude, when he went out at wide receiver, I was like, okay, but damn, you're big, bro.
Seth is one of the
like,
best
he is a strong looking dude. He is a great athlete.
Absolutely.
That pick the other night was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah,
his body, the way he got his arms out extended and got his body up, it was kind of ridiculous.
He does that and everything he does. I hope he goes up to Olivet and does
balls
great.
out.
He does great,
man, and he he had to make that play because we were giving him a lot of shit for the pick that he dropped right before that. We had to give him some shit for that one, but did he make that up? But that's incredible, man. I love that. Two great schools, two absolutely awesome just journeys that you guys are going to go on. You guys know we're here to root you on the entire time. Your teammates on that. Again, this is something that I know we're not your high school team, but this is something that I hope we can at least find some lifelong friends and connections. And, I think it'd be cool, even if 6 or 7 of us got up to a game next year. Awesome. Even if we couldn't get all 20 to make it, maybe we can get, a handful of us to come watch. And a handful of you are obviously playing. So, but definitely so now that high school football is over, man, what's the best thing that you ever learned from playing high school football? Man, like, give me one thing that was like, if anything in my life I took away from that experience, that's it.
To never give up, never stop doing what you love to do, and no matter the circumstance, and always find a way to get through adversity. I didn't have a lot of great seasons at my school, and I went traded for the world. Though I love what happened. I love the outcome. I love the people I'm around.
Love that.
I wouldn't ask for it any other way. But
incredible attitude to have. Incredible though. No, keep going, man. I love it. That's incredible. The relationships, man, the adversity. What a way to look at it. Because you're right. You guys went through up and downs over there, and to have somebody like you, what a leader too, man. Just to hold that thing together and make sure you stayed positive and kept some other guys on that team positive, because we did have some other boys from your squad that came over and were extremely hungry to win and were great kids to work with too. So
it really was. It was awesome. It really was. It was amazing.
That's incredible. What about you, man? What's the best thing you learned from high school football?
I agree with Cam on a lot of it. And also another thing is to have fun when you're doing it. Because I'm one of them guys, like, I can't play like stiff. Like, I can't be sitting in the locker room quiet and just like in my own.
Right.
I have to be like jumping around, dancing a little bit, having some fun.
Vibe from y'all. That's why I said in the pregame, not to interrupt you because I want you to keep going, but in the pregame, that's why I said I want you guys hyped. I don't want to do this whole sit around and stare at each other like this. And I think that's what they were doing, to be honest. I think they were in there kind of like, shit, what's about to happen? And just, come on, guys, let's work hard. And then, we're in here. I wanted that energy to be flowing. So that's awesome, though. But keep going, man. My fault.
Yeah, you're good. It's like to have I want to be able to have a free ability to make plays. Like, I don't want to have to be like, okay, like if at airport, they're like, if you run a speed sweep, you can cut it up or do what you do. Like players make plays, like,
Right.
So it's like to have the free ability to just do what I want.
I love that, man. I love that. What did you guys think of the coaching staff this week? Not just myself included either, just the coaching staff.
You guys brought a different energy that, us at my school, we have not seen. It's always been quiet and down, and it was nice to have something different.
Appreciate that for sure.
That's what I like to have different coaching staff. Like, I've never had Erie Mason coaches ever. Heck, I didn't even know who you guys were.
I was going to say, you probably didn't even know us, but you might have known a few of us, but just from playing at Jefferson. But you probably didn't even know us.
I didn't know anyone from there.
You guys brought a different type of energy. You actually
I appreciate that.
Our energy.
I'm glad that because I know some of the guys coming out were like a little worried about who the coaching staff was going to be and if they were going to play. Because a lot of people thought, we were just going to play the Erie kids the whole time, and it really wasn't that way. Or at least I didn't. My mindset was just kind of play everybody to their strengths and play them evenly.
Yeah, I think we did that.
You know, and now some guys ended up playing a lot from Erie, but I don't think it was ever biased. You know, it was just kind of like Loudon's a baller. You know, he's got to play at linebacker. You know,
Loudon is legit.
He's legit, man. I love Loudon, man. So Loudon this year was like top 10 in the whole state in tackles. Like his number of tackles was ridiculous.
Yeah, like 128 or something.
Yeah, and he almost broke the school record, and he was pushing like a couple games. He had like 20, 25. He was Loudon is for being 160 pounds or 155 pounds, man.
He's a dog.
He can ball. But but I'm glad that it never felt biased like that. You know, and I thought the energy, I agree, man, but I'm glad to hear that feedback because, you know, we also wanted to make it an enjoyable experience. And Coach McQuaid, shout out, he's a great dude. Coach is, if you notice, Coach is kind of quieter, but when he wants some shit done or he wants to get stern, like the goose egg stuff on Friday night, like he'll let you know he wants that damn goose egg.
Oh yeah,
you better go get that goose egg. Like he's serious about it. But I'm glad you guys had a positive experience too with the coaching staff. That was one thing that I really wanted to make sure before I got done talking to you guys. Like, what did you think about us? You know, what could we do better? You know, what did we do that maybe you guys didn't love, and that sort of thing. What did you guys think about playing at Erie Mason or the facilities?
My last 2 games were there.
Oh yeah, you already seen it, so you kind of already have an idea.
On that field.
little country field out there. Good game though. That was a great game. Physical as hell too.
Yeah.
That was our kids were quite beat up after that game, man.
I was too.
Yeah, I imagine that was one of the most physical games I've seen. What about you, man? What'd you think?
It's definitely different because, like, for us at airport, we all met at the airport every day. You know, drove like 30 minutes down there. I'm sitting there like, first day, I'm like, where is this place? Like, we're driving. I see like a bunch of fields. I'm like, I don't see a school. And it's like up. It says like 0.2 miles. I'm like, there's no school. Like, I'm not seeing anything. And I see.
Then it comes up out of nowhere.
We see it, and it was like, it's just we turn in. I'm like, Drew Van Washington was driving. He goes, "Are we driving on a sidewalk right now?" I'm sitting there. I'm like, we might be driving on a sidewalk. And I look over and I'm like, I see that's our team. I think I'm like, I don't even know. I'm so confused about this. What we're driving on.
Oh man, it's a small town, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, similar to Carlton. I live in Carlton actually, so to be transparent with you, I could probably walk to airport in like 5 minutes. I live like right down the road. But it's definitely a little bit more like a little more country, a little more out there. We're just kind of that little city, man, in between like Toledo and Monroe. What'd you guys think about like the concessions and kind of the optics and the announcer and just kind of all the stuff that was put into the game throughout the week from All Heart and the MVP awards? And what'd you guys think of the aesthetics of the game?
It's awesome. I mean,
Definitely.
It made it fun, really.
You guys enjoyed that part of it, though?
Oh, yeah.
It made it feel like more than just like a regular high school football game.
Love
that.
that.
Actually felt like.
Love that feedback.
It really meant something. Like it's bigger than it was.
Did it though? Did it mean something to y'all?
For sure.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it.
I wasn't trying to lose again.
Hell yeah. I feel that. Hey, man, everybody in that room, everybody as a player in that room can say I finished high school with a blowout dub, not just a dub, a big ass dub. And I think it's cool to say, and I did it with my dudes from all over the county, and we took the other side of the county and we beat them like that, man. And for us coaches, like, hey man, I'm 1-0 in an all-star game with a blowout win. Like that feels good, you know. Like Erie Mason staff, we got a good dub, so it's awesome. Man, it's been awesome to hear your guys' story. We got just a few more things before we get out of here, fellas. Every week we do a coach's corner. Where I come with a message that has something to do with today's show. Our message today is be where your feet are and add value to all situations. So I'm a firm believer that, like, if you're in school, do your damn work. Like, go get a 4.0, go get that 3.8, whatever it is, but do your shit while you're there. Why else are you there? Like, just be whatever you're doing. If you're doing dishes, man, knock them dishes out as quick as you can and do them at a high level. Like, just always be where you're at and be in that moment, working your ass off and being the best you can and add value to all situations. Picked it because everybody this week made that decision to be where they were at. Nobody, to be honest, slacked off. Nobody took it for granted. Miles actually came off the bench because he missed a practice. and I never got one attitude from Miles. He came in the game, he balled, and then he really took the spot back. And that's not disrespect to Braden, who went back on the line and balled out on the line. Like it was just, and we needed Braden on the defensive line, to be honest, a little bit. So with him kind of facing that T and them Whiteford dudes, it kind of made sense to let Miles roll a little bit. But that guy, no attitude, nothing, just incredible, man. And every single person on this team, I was looking at the roster earlier, and I'm like, every single kid on this team brought a crazy amount of value. Even the kids that were just on the O-line all night that have no stats. Bordeaux from Carlson, your guy from Airport. What's his last name? Is it Van Washenall? Van Washenova.
Chase Johnson too. He was out there.
Chase Johnson, 74, right?
Yep.
Yes. Nathan Mazarin. Them guys. I watched Nathan make an incredible play last night or Friday night. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember as soon as he got up, it was one of them detail plays.
Speaking of Nathan, Nathan played linebacker for us, and Nathan's probably one of the best athletes I've ever met in my entire life.
He's in great shape.
He's been my workout partner since, as long as I can remember. He's my best friend, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Nathan was an all-regional linebacker.
Shout out to him, man. He made a couple plays last night. And I made sure, because there's guys like linemen don't get as much love, right? Like your boy is, Amari gets the love from the newspaper and Drew and the receivers and the quarterback. And, the line doesn't necessarily, even linebackers, like we necessarily, unless we got like a 20 tackle, 3-pick game or something wild, like we don't even get no love. But I think just to make sure that those guys are all shouted, man, that line ate on Friday night.
Ate.
Like, and
they from Erie Mason.
John, John is scrappy as shit. So he will fight the as far as football pads, he will fight the biggest kid on that field all game. And he might lose some plays, but he'll fight that kid.
Biggest heart, man.
Biggest heart. All them dudes ate so, and it was crazy because I was kind of giving them shit before the game, right? I'm like, no, man, they got them Whiteford boys and they got some big boys, and Big Red and Bordeaux come over to me like, you don't know what we do, coach. and then John Nolan come up to me like, dude, we got this handled. And then your boy he was a little quieter this week, but your boy comes up to me like, don't worry about it. We got it. And I'm just, man, they ate, bro. Like, I did not expect them to eat. Like, I thought we were going to have to throw the ball a little more just to kind of like open the run game up. And I'm like, man, Zach Miller ran hard. It was just great offense. Everybody on the team, back to my point of our coach's corner, everybody added value to this team. That's why it was such a success. Our student athlete of the week. So every week we pick a student athlete of the week. We didn't have a whole lot of action this past week. We're obviously getting to that time. So we decided to pick Amari Carter from the All-Star game, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. Obviously he padded the stat line on Friday night and looked great. So shout out to you, man. We also want to just mention this before we continue and get out of here, guys. Amari is he's going to prep school and he's looking to continue his career as well. So just in case he's watching, Amari, we are rooting for you the whole way, my man. We appreciate all you brought to the table this week and kind of blowing that game open right away at the beginning so that we could kind of settle in and do whatever the heck we basically wanted the rest of the game. But we appreciate you, and from the genuine bottom of our hearts, we hope the best for you, man. And I know you want a D1 offer. So I hope that you go ball out at this prep school and get what you're looking for, my man. On this day in 1988, I don't know if we have any baseball fans tuning in, but Cal Ripken Jr. played his 1,000th consecutive game. You guys watch baseball at all? Nope. Know who Cal Ripken Jr. is? Yeah. So 1,000 game in a row. No? Wrestling and football guy right here? Yeah, I'm a big time I'm a big time football and hockey guy, a little bit of basketball and then a little bit of baseball. But I just like greatness too, man. 1,000 straight games. Like, can you imagine that? I know they play a lot in a baseball, but in a season, but that's
about longevity.
That's nuts. Were you a baseball player?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you had to play another sport, man. Cause I asked you guys who played another sport and literally all 20 of you guys raised your hand. So that's the other thing I wonder too, before we continue, is just I wonder how many white team had like how many of them guys may have not have played multiple sports? Because it's kind of crazy that all 20 of you guys were like just coming off of a spring sport, which is probably a little bit of a help, at least for the being in shape, you know.
Decent shape.
Definitely. And then shout out to you, man, for playing baseball as well and being a multi-sport guy, and you as well. Shout out. You wrestled, right? Is that what you said?
I wrestle and I run track.
And run track as well?
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. Awesome. Awesome. Multi-sport guys. So the young people listening, you see that we have a couple very young, successful people on this show. One that's both that are going to college, one that's playing football at that level. And you hear the multi-sport, not just from getting yourself to college where it helps, but also from an experience standpoint. So make sure you guys take advice from young guys. Play sports, get involved, play them all. I'm always an encourager, man, of playing a couple sports. They complement each other. Track speed is great on a football field. Wrestling is great on a football field. Even basketball, if I'm being real, a running back that can hoop can cut like crazy on a football field. So play them sports. Also on this day, 1997, Tim Duncan was drafted number 1 overall by the Spurs. Y'all know who Tim Duncan is, right? So Timmy D, the legend, drafted by the Spurs. After he was drafted, the rest is pretty much history. They just went on to like whoop everybody for years to come. One of my biggest heartbreaks in sports. The Pistons won the championship in 2004. In 2005, they played the Spurs and they were trying to run it back to back. And Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob, hit a shot over Rasheed Wallace to win the series and broke my freaking heart, man, as a Pistons fan. And that's one of the only memories I freaking have of them damn Spurs is just Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Tony Parker just beating the Pistons, man. And it hurts my soul. Still to this day, I think that game and the Ohio State-Michigan game where JT got the first down mark, I think was like the 2 most heartbreaking damn days of my whole life. Oh, man, come on.
No, I'm a Gator fan. I refuse.
You're a Gator fan?
I refuse to cheer for Michigan. Refuse.
Why, man? Why is Michigan so rough on your radar?
I grew up a Florida fan, I guess. My dad's from the South, so that's just how I grew up.
You a Michigan fan?
Michigan State.
You're a Sparty fan. I knew he was about to say that.
Anything but Michigan. I'll cheer for Western Georgia before I cheer for.
This guy's a straight hater right now. I will say this, man. I'm a Michigan fan, but I actually, if I'm being real, and I'm not even just blowing smoke, but I legit watch Eastern quite a bit. I love Eastern's football program. Up at Eastern?
Yeah,
shout out. Yeah. Hey, that's awesome, man. Yep. Eastern, Coach Creighton is one of the best human beings in this world. Their head coach up there is incredible. Their staff is awesome. Man, it's crazy. Like, I humbly say this, but their strength and conditioning coach and I talk like once a week where I'm just like, hey, man, this is crazy. You talked about this too. So if you ever want to chat, let me know, man, too. So I'm the strength and conditioning coach at Erie, but I'm also the strength and conditioning coach at Allen Park Volleyball. So I actually 2 different sports, strength and conditioning coach, both of those. And I'll be honest, man, I hate, because I know this sounds like not humble, but I have like 10 different certifications throughout the years. I can't even remember half of them anymore because I just like paid the money, did the class, got the cert. So it was a resume builder, and then just kind of was like, all right, you know, but I have the certs and all that stuff, strength and conditioning, personal training. So if you ever need advice or want to just talk about that stuff, man, reach out and we can talk game. Or even if you want to share something, man, I'm like, dude, I'm not that coach who's like, I know everything. I told you guys there was a possession on Friday night. I walked straight over to you guys and said, I effed that whole possession up. Like, I screwed that whole play calling up on that one. I went right over to y'all like, I'm sorry. That shit was my fault. That was ugly. But I'm not that guy, man, who knows. I know I have, ways to learn, a ton of ways to grow and learn. So reach out, man, anytime. Guys, anything y'all want to say about any kind of last notes on the game? As far as, what about next year? You guys want to see some teammates? Any of your teammates going to be out here next year?
They should be.
Yeah, hopefully.
Handful of guys?
Maybe Martre. We don't know. Gabe Hall, a couple of my boys back at Jefferson.
Couple of them guys? Okay, what about you, man? Who might we see out here next year?
Colin Nowak, Cooper Nye, Jack Mills. But heck, they might be going to the big one.
Jack Mills is he the big boy? Big guy? How tall is Jack?
He's about my size.
Okay. Okay. So that's not, I thought y'all had maybe that was a few years ago. Y'all had a real big running back. like a 6'3"
Oh yeah,
running
Jacob
back.
Peck.
That was him.
He was a machine.
We played against him in the playoffs, and he was a pain in the ass, man, to try to stop. Just big. You 6'3", 6'4" running back coming through the lane, legs rotating the right way. Like, that shit's hard to stop.
I think that was my sophomore year. Yeah.
Pribble was hard to stop too last year. My God, man.
He's on mission. That
He was hard to stop. We play you guys first game too at Jefferson, Mason Jefferson over at your guys' place this year. So that's going to be an exciting one too, man. I know you got a lot going on, but if you can somehow pop down to watch that game, I mean, what's better than Erie, Mason, and Jefferson kicking off the first week of the season in the county? Like, that's fun, man.
I'll try and make it down here.
Yeah, definitely. Try to come support your boys, your old team, and your all-star coach, and just I know you're gonna root for your where your heart is, but it's still fun to come watch the game, right? Great experience.
Football.
But absolutely. So and then man, I look forward to seeing some of them guys too. I've known Coop for a few years now. He's actually come to a few of my sports training classes back in COVID. He showed up to a few of them, and we follow each other on social media and that sort of thing. But I look forward to having some of them guys. I'll be honest, man, I don't know if they'll have me do it again, but I'm trying to do it again. Like I told Coach Bowers, like, sign me up. I don't know if we can, match what we did, but we'll give it everything. We'll lay the game plan like we did this week, and we'll try it. And hopefully we get them same, and honestly bring a few of these guys. That would be one thing I would do, is bring you guys back to talk during that week to explain to them how we got it done. That would be cool too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We will. All right, man, we're all going to be in touch for sure. This was something, like I said, before we get out of here, this was something that really, really, I think, helped football grow in the county this week, this Friday. Really helped just these young men build connections that they can use for the rest of their life, and friendships that they'll be able to cherish for the rest of your guys' life. That's the most important thing about all this. Really did a good job of putting football on the map in our county. So we accomplished everything we set out to do Friday. I appreciate you guys for coming on today. If you guys want to drop a few links here at the end, I'm going to give you guys time. But just want to tell you guys, man, really appreciate you gentlemen and the rest of that group. So guys, you can find us at Kennedy Health and Wellness on Facebook and Instagram, or KennedyHealthWellness.com. BrainJerk Entertainment on Facebook or Instagram. You can also find them guys on YouTube if you're looking for the podcast network. Kicking It with Coach K. Our podcast now has a Facebook page. You can also find us on Instagram. So every week we'll go back through and find like a quote from the guest on the show. We'll post it on a picture. We'll post the link to the show again, and just kind of share some of the thoughts that we had on our show today. So we kind of make it fun, man, on our social media page. Coach K 1993. You can find me on Instagram. Any links you fellas want to drop today for your high school, your college, Olivet football, anything you guys want to drop?
Shout out Olivet football.
Follow. Yep. Go ahead and take this advice and go ahead and follow Olivet football on Twitter. And I'm going to guess maybe like Instagram. Yep. Usually it's Twitter and Instagram. So make sure you go follow them. All right. So that way you get a schedule and you can see when this guy's out in action this fall, and we can go up and visit him. Where can we find you, my man? Or do you want to drop any links?
Follow all things Eastern, baby.
Hey, let's go. Yes, follow all things EMU and Eastern. Let's go. Appreciate you, fellas. Great game on Friday night. Again, 34-0. Blue team showed up. Much respect. Guys, we are back next week at 5 p.m. Make sure you guys tune in. We appreciate you guys for coming out to the All-Star game Friday night, for supporting these young men. And we thank you guys for supporting our show.